Crow.
Hi and welcome back to City of Liverpool online radio station, or Colours. I'm here at Roscoe Street College and I'm here with a wonderful guy that I've been working with for quite some time, and he's coming to tell you about some up and coming projects that he's got prepared and that you can get involved in. So for anyone watching at home, your name and who you are.
My name is Garrick Prayogg. I live on the Wirral, which is part of Liverpool City region.
And so Garrick, we bumped into each other at the Anthony Walker event just the other day.
It was just at the weekend, yeah, on Saturday.
Yeah. And as I said, I've known you for a while, and I know some of the events you put on. Tell people a bit about, just a brief history about the kind of things you do and over the last...
Well, my actual history goes back a long way. If I can go back to my teens, as it were, you know, started in South London and what we call the front line, Black Powerhouse. Back then, I was only 16, 17 when I was involved in civil rights movement. Met some of the champions of civil rights, Darcus Howe, for example.
Oh, of course.
When Angela Davis came over from the States, you know, I met her. And over the years I met many people involved in civil rights. Actually came to Merseyside in 1989, and since then I've been involved in a number of projects, community work, but my background is social work, so I've worked within social work for a number of years. I work within education, youth development, I work for the City Council, for Knowsley Council, for Wirral Council, and now my focus is charity. I'm working with Cultural Diversity Network, which is a local community group based on the Wirral.
Brilliant. That sounds like a real history of your you know, what you've been involved in. Yeah, very brief. And I know you've done, you know, been involved in a lot of things in Liverpool.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about some of your events that are up and coming. I think we've got 4 that we want to cover today. So get your pen and paper ready, or anything else in terms if you want to take part. So the first one, as you just mentioned, is the Cultural Diversity Network.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Cultural Diversity Network been in existence from certainly from 1989 when I got involved, but prior to that it started back in the early 70s with just a couple of women, mothers, who were seeking support for children of mixed race. And back then there were no support for predominantly white families fostering and adopting children, and the fact is that there were no black families available. And so just a small group of women was involved in a little group, and as a result of that developed into a local organization called Wirral Group for Racial Equality. When I arrived from London, I got involved and started to bring my expertise and develop a number of projects. We then established a number of events like Black History lectures, workshops. We did things around cultural awareness in schools with Sure Start, with, you know, housing organization, and then we established the Cultural Diversity Festival in partnership with Wirral Council, and that ran for about 18 years, you know, continuously. Our last festival was held in Tranmere Rovers in 2014. And due to funding, we're not able to deliver that sort of, but that was an annual event that brought together local people, you know, organization that delivers services, particularly health services, social services, education, housing, brought together those organizations and brought the community together, so that community will then be able to see, you know, what's available, and then as a result of that, organization was able to you know, survey, you know, the community and get some insight as to what are some of the barriers that was preventing people from accessing service. So that model, you know, was very unique to Wirral, and we delivered that for about 18 years. I mean, at the moment, what Cultural Diversity been doing is more around carnival. So each year we work closely with Brouhaha
Of course.
to deliver the carnival and to have a representation from the
yes.
Wirral. And you know, you've noticed our costume. We've always had a very, very you know, flamboyant
Yes.
costume, and every year our costume actually is talked about. You know, and you know, that's something we're very proud of. And as a result of that, we've developed a number of things. You know, we work with Black History Month, we work with the museum, you know.
Is that the Slavery Museum, yeah?
The Slavery Museum.
Yes, yes.
And currently we're delivering a lunch club for our elders, which is the second Tuesday of each month. And that take place in Wirral, in Birkenhead.
Is that the one I came to?
Yes, it was.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
And you work closely with the Liverpool African elders, so we go to them and they come to us. We also work closely with a group from West Kirby, because of course West Kirby doesn't have that cultural mix. So then we try to bring that cultural mix to West Kirby. So it's a way of us, you know, sort of raising awareness to culture and heritage, where normally those, you know, those things is not within their delivery.
Okay, that's a wonderful explanation of what the Cultural Diversity Network, and I understand about funding, because I go for that all the time.
Yeah,
and
funding
how
is-
you can I know.
Yeah, funding is a big issue. It's very challenging. Over the last few years, it's been very difficult to actually secure funding. So a lot of the work we do, we fundraise ourselves.
Yep.
And you know, as you know, in the last few years, even housing association, for example, are reduced the support they offer. In fact, now the criteria is, well, how many of our residents will take part, and how can you actually confirm that? You know, you just don't know. See, so that's always a difficult one.
Stats and everything.
But we continue to do what we do, and our objective really is to continue to raise awareness to culture and to break down
Diversity.
some of those barriers that exist, you know, around discrimination and bigotry and so forth.
Absolutely. So anyone watching this section of the radio show and wants to support cultural diversity, or can support in funding, or how can they
Well, we have a website, and so we have a website and a Facebook page. The website is culturaldiversitynetwork.org.uk, and we have a Facebook page. Just go for Google CUL, C-U-L, and our page come up. So that tells us a little bit more about the history of the organization, what project we're involved in, and how people can actually contact us by phone, by email, or social media.
Fantastic. So, Mr. Garrick, we are going to move on to your second event or project that you're working on, which is the Time for Change.
Yes,
Mental health.
yes,
Project. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Time
which
for
fly,
Change.
Which fly is that one? Mr. Garrick?
That's the small one here with the little this one here. Yes,
It's very small, but Time for
It's
Change.
designed for people to actually, you know, carry with them in their pocket, have it constantly in their bag, etc. It opens out with more information, so it's very personalized. And mental health, as you know, has been a big issue. In the last couple of years, we've seen, you know, not just the royal family in terms of, you know, Prince Harry and his wife talking about mental health, but, you know, for example, people like Ruby Wax, for example, talk about mental health.
Absolutely.
Frank Bruno, for example, I've been in
course.
touch with Frank Bruno. We've seen a number of television programs that focus on specifically black mental health, because there is a difference in terms of the number of issues that black people will face. So there are 3 mental health charities in the UK.
Okay.
One is Time for Change, 2 is Rethink, and the 3rd is Mine. Now, Mine delivers services, so we have Mine all over the country in different cities. Although there isn't a mine in Liverpool, the nearest one is in Birkenhead. It covers Merseyside, so the city region. So Mine delivers services for Liverpool in Wirral. Rethink delivers services nationally, and the nearest project here is Chester.
Yes.
And then the one that I'm really promoting today is Time for Change. And Time for Change is a a campaigning organization. And what that means is really raising awareness to mental health issue and the stigma attached to mental health and the discrimination. And of course, nobody wants to have the conversation about mental health.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even though, you would think within families, there are family members that don't talk about mental health within their family, and other family members don't know that they're suffering, and they're suffering in silence.
Do you know, can I just jump in there, Garrick? Because I work with a lot of young people, and I'm working with a family at the moment. I won't say names and stuff, but this young girl got into college, but she suffers from ADHD.
Yes.
The first day she came in, she had a panic attack,
Yes.
and she wouldn't come back into the college.
Yes.
Now, I know there's a lot of young people, as you know, I don't know what's causing this trend of ADHD. I think it's been going for a while, but it seems to be an epidemic.
Yes.
And so, therefore, I totally understand how it impacts on the family, how it impacts on their studying, how
Absolutely.
as young people. And I suppose that ADHD is one of the key.
It's one of the key.
Ones.
And the fact of the matter is, when you talk about mental health, people, they shy away from it, and they don't understand. There are so many different complaints around mental health. So, the big ones, for example, we know about schizophrenia, for example. And that one, a lot of black people suffer from schizophrenia. And again, studies have actually suggest that using marijuana and weed, is not a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's very, very much around, how drugs can impact on your mental health.
Absolutely.
But there are other things, bipolar, depression, all these things. And if we're honest with ourselves, most of us suffer from one or maybe a multiple of these conditions. But we don't want anybody to know about it. So we keep it quiet.
I had ADHD, I'm sure, in fact I know I did, but I handled it in different ways.
Yes.
And I think many of us, I think you're absolutely spot on, many of us go through life with these things that we say,
Yes.
but we find ways of coping with them.
Yes.
Nowadays I think it's just become...
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure
And just in relation to ADHD, I know parents where, they have grown children, grown men, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, living at home, causing mayhem in the house, smashing up things and, destroying things, etc. And, they're powerless. There isn't enough service out there to support adult ADHD. Even at school in the early years, for many parents, it took many years even to get the condition to be recognized in school, and then having to get the support after it's recognized. And then if you're a black person, then there are additional issues and barriers in terms of discrimination, etc. So, mental health, it's a big one. What we're promoting in Time for Change, really, we're encouraging people to have a conversation. So you notice on that leaflet, it actually says conversation. See what it says there? Conversation changes lives. So that's that's the first step, is just starting to have a conversation. So October the 10th is Mental Health Day.
Okay.
And so all over the country there will be activities around mental health. On the 10th of October we'll be delivering a session in Hope University.
I know how
to the students in Taggart Avenue, which is down in Woolton.
We'll put a scrolling thing on the screen for you.
Yeah, and we've done 3 sessions with Hope University thus far. And really, because students are experiencing lots of difficulty around mental health. So within Hope, they have what we call the well-being support, and that's part of the well-being support. And other universities and colleges will have something similar. So the student population is certainly one that needs support. So that's the 10th of October at Hope. So anybody can drop in on that day from around 11 o'clock till about 2 o'clock and see us and have a conversation and talk about it. And the purpose of this really is just to raise awareness to the stigma that attached to mental health, and just getting people start to have the conversation. And that little leaflet actually has got some helpful information, and direct you to the website so that you can actually go on the website, see some videos, and then, you know, get a little bit more insight into what Time for Change is all about.
I'd love to support that in a bit more bigger way with what we do at the radio station.
Sure.
But anyone who wants to maybe be involved or put on their own kind of project, if you're watching this, please get in touch with Garrick or the radio station, or as I said before, it's on the 10th of October, so do get involved if you are affected by, as me and Garrick were saying, I think most of us are, mental health issues.
And just finally, Don, we have two groups for Time for Change. One for Liverpool, is the Liverpool group that meets on the first Wednesday of each month. They meet in Liverpool in the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And then the second group meet in Birkenhead and the last Monday of each month. So those are opportunities for new people to come along and get some information. And the whole purpose of that is trying to get people sign up as champion, what we call Time for Change champion. And what that means, in order to become a champion, you have to have what we call live experience. So you have to have live experience around mental health, as you said about ADHD, for example. If you suffer from depression, if you suffer from schizophrenia, if you suffer from bipolar, then of course you have lived experience. If you're working in that environment and supporting people as a carer, you have lived experience. So that's the idea of champion, getting involved. So those are opportunities for people to get involved, both in Liverpool and on Wirral. On the
Wirral. So any of you have life experiences, as Gareth was saying, get in touch with this man, and he can definitely do with your support. So we're just going to cut away for a little break, and we'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Color.